Yes, here we go. It's the P.M.P. It's not quite Terry with me, but it's David Logue. I've not been on with David in a long time. I was just talking about that off air. I was saying you're looking a bit Thiago Home-esque, and I'm sure his name is going to come up tonight. It is post-match pish, and it is after another 3 points for Celtic. How did we get there? How did we arrive with? How did we finish up with 3 points? We'll discuss it all tonight, of course. Before we get into it all, we'll quickly do all that good stuff, which means, of course, give us a like, give us a share, by all means, slag my hair. If you want to, what's the other ones? Become a Bhoycie Bus member, like Gary Brown, like Jim C, like Gary Brown, like Jim C, like Jim C, and like Gary Brown, and like so many other folk, do you know what I mean? By all means, $1.99 a month, crack on, and you can do that. All the content's always free in the bus, though. That's the most important thing. But the most important thing tonight that we'll be talking about is a win for the boys. That's what happened. No Green Brigade, no problem. Or was it? I don't know. We'll get stuck into it. Although, remember as well, piesports.com. Get yourself a wee tasty pastry treat and get a discount at the checkout. Bus 1888 is the code. Right, David? First things first, mate. It was a game that we knew might be a wee bit difficult to win. We hoped it would be smooth tonight. But after the 0-0 draw in our last outing, we knew it might be a wee bit tricky tonight. I fancied us for the points, but of course, when you concede early like that, it's never going to be plain sailing thereafter. Celtic, of course, contrived to make life difficult for themselves by missing penalties and stuff. And honestly, we must be the worst team in the history of football at taking penalties. The worst club. It's been years. Squad after squad. They've always been shite at it, to be honest with you. Take it away, mate. A goal down early on, but we got the win.
It was not the best start, was it? I mean, I thought we were maybe lacking a bit of conviction and a bit of more aggression than I thought we probably should have done after what we'd saw on the weekend. We didn't come into the traps as quickly as I would have liked, but I think Brendan touched on that as well after the game, and I think obviously going a goal down early on obviously maybe just gave us a little shot in the arm. I mean, there was no panic stations. There was no panic stations sitting here watching it, and I don't feel there was any panic stations from the players. I'm sure it might have been a wee bit different in the ground at the time, just obviously due to the fact that we'd dropped points at the weekend and it was a bit of a lacklustre performance. So to go a goal down after 6 minutes might have been a little bit of a concern, but the boys did well, like you said. I think you said on the group chat that we looked to have a really good spell near the end of the half.
The first half, definitely, mate. I agree.
And it was a case of maybe, again, we really didn't need that half-time whistle getting blown, but obviously we'll get to that. I thought David Turnbull, had a feeling he might score tonight. When I seen him back in the team sheet, I just kind of feel like this is the fixture where he'll get us a goal, and right enough that he did. He took it well. He just did David Turnbull things, didn't he? Some frustrating things and some very positive things that you'd expect for David Turnbull. He's got great technique when he strikes the ball, and if you're needing to try and get a shot away from outside the box to find the net, he's probably the guy to do it. So yeah, and of course we got the penalty, and I knew Turnbull would take it because obviously it came from his shot. But I was kind of hoping that Palmer would have been the guy to get the nod this time, but
again, I agree with that.
But of course, Turnbull, he's gonna, he's got a point to prove. He's got himself back in the team due to obviously an injury to Hatate, and maybe Bernardo didn't grasp the brass ring as well as he could have against Hibs. So Turnbull comes in, he's already got a goal, he's full of confidence. But right away, I don't know what you boys said. Not only did I think we were going to miss it because of how poor our penalties have been lately, but when the camera was zoomed in on Turnbull's face, he was telling everybody where he was putting that. He was telling everyone where he was putting that ball.
Yeah.
Right enough, he went down that left hand side and he's hit the post. And I think I looked up a stat, but we're not a stat folk on this podcast, and most of my stats aren't the best. But I thought, what are the percentage rate of goals hitting the back of the net for a penalty? and they say about 75% to 80% the penalties should tend to end up in a goal. Not unless you're Celtic. It's usually, I think, it's 75% of chance we miss. So
It's the other way around, mate.
we really need to sort that out. But yeah, I did think Palmer probably like, this guy's meant to be the Deadpool specialist. So
Yeah.
he was taking the corners tonight. So he's moved on to corners. He's taken that off with David Turnbull. So I thought, all right, let's put him on the penalty. But maybe he'll get to take the next one.
Well, you never know, mate. You never know. One thing I want to touch on as well, assuming you concede that goal, the free header for St Mirren, whose scorer's name escapes me. Who cares? Like, nobody cares, mate. But, like, see, the thing is, see if you want to start games like that slowly, like Celtic did, and you start that off the pace, and you want to give teams head starts, other games will get punished, you know what I mean? So, as far as I'm concerned, we need to try and click into gear a wee bit quicker than what we are right now. I take your point, and I'm saying I agree. It was my fucking post in the WhatsApp group chat. I agree with myself that the last 10-15 minutes of the first half was very good, I think. Very good. But before that, you've got to remember these games, as much as Celtic have this financial gulf over the fucking rest and all that sort of thing, like, at the end of the day, you don't get given points. You're never going to just get gifted 3 points here or there. You've got to be at it to win the league titles every game from minute one. And then, if ever there's a time, you take your foot off the pedal. So once you've got that big cushion and you've brought in all 5 subs, all that sort of thing, Celtic need to start quicker. They need to start with more impetus. And I did think they clicked towards the end of the first half. I can't deny that. And one other talking point that we'll come to tonight as well is substitutions, lack of options that we've spoken about time and time again. We have to also be fair and balanced when we look at them tonight, because I thought they did do well. I thought, your man sporting the same tash as you, David, he was big Thiago home. I thought he looked good when he came on. I thought Yang was very good when he came on as well. I thought he really did. Try to make things happen. Now, I was speaking about this on Monday with Jonathan, and it was like, sometimes playing it safe might make your individual stats, and as you were saying, we're not a stats pod, but it can sometimes give off a false fucking economy as to how well someone's played and how well they've not. We need to be a wee bit braver on the ball. I liked it, but Palmer at times, I thought, stung the keeper's palms. He was unlucky with the rebound from the penalty as well. He looks like he's going to, try and force the issue a wee bit. I'm all for that. I'm not convinced enough of them are doing that. James Forrest started tonight. This isn't picking on James Forrest story before everyone, starts shiting themselves that you've got a negative word to say about someone. The reality is, James Forrest was the definition again tonight of playing it safe at every opportunity. He did very, very little in the game. And see if I was at Yang, for example, Mikey Johnston, Attilio, and James Forrest is far and away ahead of you in the pecking order. I'm not saying he's first choice by any stretch, but he's ahead of these guys in the pecking order. That would concern me. I thought Yang, to be fair, looked like a guy who had, the bit between the teeth. He just looked like, tonight, I'm going to make something happen. And we've got to give credit as well. No, I'm generalising everything here, and you can pick the bones off everything I'm saying there, David, when I come back to you. We've got to give kudos to, I've kind of have written him off, if I'm completely honest. I say have written him off. I have written him off. There'll be folk watching this going, fuck off. You didn't half write him off. He said we only had one first-team striker, but he said, fair enough. Tonight, his finish was absolutely brilliant. Didn't panic. Pointed to where he wanted the ball. Got the ball. One touch, bang, into the net. Not looking for fouls. Not trying to win a penalty. Scores. And what was a goal that influenced and dictated outcomes. That's what we're looking to see from our players. What do you take away from the 943 opinions I just gave you there, David?
Well, we'll go back on the James Forrest. We'll start off there. Again, this isn't we're not picking on James Forrest, but the boys' race is run. It just says a lot to me when, again, he's getting ahead of the likes of Yang, and obviously Telly's not fit yet. But I'm starting to wonder if maybe, like we've been saying, maybe Brendan's trying to send a message to the board that the squad's not good enough. Well, maybe that could be the case. But maybe Brendan's just sending a message to Yang and the likes that, look, this guy's been here, done it all, and right now you're not doing enough to merit a start, do merit getting on the pitch when we're needing a goal. I'll pick James Forrest's idea because you're maybe not doing it in training. We touched on it on Sunday that he mentioned Rodgers will pick players on what they're doing in training as well as obviously what they're doing on the pitch, and the attitude maybe just wasn't there. I felt when Yang came on tonight and Thiago Home, they all came on with a bit of a point to prove tonight. I felt like they had a wee bit of chip on their shoulder, especially Yang. Maybe a case of, no, I'll show you that I should be getting ahead of James Forrest. So maybe that's a wee bit of reverse psychology coming from Brendan's side, who knows. But if that is the case, it certainly worked because it was Yang's best performance for Celtic tonight. He looked lively. He was doing all the things that we've seen at the start of the season where we're all going, well, there's definitely a talent here, and the boy looks eager and he looks like he's ready to make something happen, but there was a lacking of end product. I feel like we're starting to see a wee bit more quality added in with that eagerness and that bit of rough around the edges. You know, the skills that he's shown to take on a man, the blistering pace that he has, and he's not afraid to take a shot on goal. And I think most of them were actually, you know, he's quite unlucky not to find the back of the net.
It looked like he was trying a wee bit more end product. Just quickly on Yang, looked like there was more end product in what he was trying to do today, rather than, right, I'll beat another man for another man's sake. Do you know what I mean? It just, at times, the indulgence is what's got the better of him. You expect that from a young winger, by the way. This isn't a hyper criticism of him. But I did think tonight he looked like he was trying to get the ball in the box that wee bit earlier than normal. It looked like there was a bit of quality in some of the crosses that he played. He was unlucky with a couple of his shots. You're absolutely right. He looked different tonight. And sometimes that can be the sort of the mental sort of game that goes on when you're in the team at the start and you're taken out of it, you get frustrated, you come back with that wee bit of edge, that wee chip on your shoulder as you're referring to, David. And I liked what I've seen from him tonight compared to what I've seen so far, albeit it was all the good things we'd seen, but it looked more all round tonight, like he was thinking more of the team and not trying to just impress it, you know, for his own individual benefit.
I think, you know, as well, you know, we've seen Palmer come in and he's taking his chances well, and he's now finding himself in the starting 11 more often than not. Now, Yang might be seeing that going, oh Christ, I came in here first and this boy's already overtaking me. Competition breeds quality, you know, and maybe that's a case of I'm going to really have to up my game if I need to get back in this team, because Palmer's, like you said, he's finding the back of the net in the big games against, yes, he didn't get the goals chopped off against Lazio, and he obviously scored against Atletico Madrid. Yang's still waiting on his first goal for Celtic. If he's seen what Palmer's doing, he has to then step up the game to keep up with him and be the competition for his position, not a James Forrest that should be finding his way further down the pecking order, not finding his way back into the starting 11. Touching on maybe not trying, you know, sometimes people can try a little bit too hard, and I think we can relate that to most of all of all the subs. He, ever since he's came to Celtic, I always feel like he tries almost a little bit too hard, and then that's why a lot of the chances aren't coming off for him. You mentioned he pointed where he wanted that pass. He got exactly where he wanted. We see him do that all the time. If you watch, he's always screaming and pointing exactly where he wants that ball. And you know, a lot of the time he finds he doesn't get that ball. It ends up going out wide or to another player, and then the position he's taken up then being wasted. Very similar to what Kyogo must feel sometimes with the amount of runs that he makes. But
yeah,
I think maybe relaxed a bit tonight. I think him and Yang have come off the bench with points to prove. You know, there's a lot of talk that these Korean lads aren't good enough. You know, that's gonna get back to them at some way, at some point. You know, these guys all be on social media. They watch football and they'll be reading the punditry. It'll be getting back to them. They've got points to prove, and I think he's maybe relaxed a little bit tonight. The ball's landed to him perfectly by a sublime pass by Odin Home. I mean, if that had a bit of Matt O'Reilly-esque to it, that layoff, and had the composure and the conviction take the chance. He almost ripped his shirt off. I don't know if you watched him. He went to grab the shirt and he thought better of it, but he's still got that. He's still got that personality that he's the best player on the planet, which I do like. I do love about him. To be fair, and the first, you notice the first person that grabbed a hold of him was Yang in the celebrations. You could tell they've obviously they both went on the pitch with points to prove, and Yang's come off the bench with some brilliant piece of quality, and then O's taking his chance, and they were clearly delighted for each other. There's all this rumours that the Korean boys aren't settling in Scotland and they're maybe not enjoying it here. Well, I don't know if you saw the post-match tonight, but he managed to do an interview he chose to do it without his translator tonight, so he's shown that he's invested the time in the country to learn the language. He had his family in the crowd tonight, which maybe gave him a bit of a lift tonight. Might even, I don't know if Brendan's would have went down that thought process, but maybe got him on a bit earlier than he might have normally done, just with the family being in the crowd. We've seen Ange do it when we had Klinsmann in the crowd. I don't know if there's something going on there, but if his family being in the crowd tonight lifted him and gave him that little extra boost of confidence, it's accumulated into this last minute winner. Well, not last minute winner, but last 10-minute winner that we were really looking out for a hero tonight, and O took his chance, and I'm buzzing for him, to be honest, because we have been saying that, like you said, you have maybe written him off, and I think a lot of fans kind of have, and I've been saying that it's getting harder and harder to stick up for him, but fair play to him, he took his chance tonight, and he might have played himself into getting some more game time, which I think he needs if he is going to progress in this team.
Well, that's true, but you get the opportunity once you join. I suppose that you've got to earn that right, and of course tonight he's done his chances, no harm whatsoever in getting more game time. One of the other things I think though, what's very important, I think this is something that's not exclusive to the players Celtic have brought in. Let's get that right. I think across the board in modern football now, players are constantly thinking of their brand, if you like. They're very much individuals now, and I think even subconsciously you're referring to aspects of that, David, when you're going, oh, they've got their social media, they'll be thinking it. These are traits of someone playing for themselves, if that's the case. I think going back to the Yang thing quickly, and maybe why O is maybe a wee bit more focused or a bit calmer, as you like, in the box, and not wanting to panic and actually focusing on doing what he's paid to do, is more of a team ethic that they're hopefully picking up now. And I think that can happen sometimes, that players, when they play for themselves, end up frustrating, I would say, us fans at times. And that's sometimes the reason why, is because they're not thinking of the team first. They're thinking of their own career path and their own ladder that they've got to climb and what's affecting it and things. And I think it's important to get back to, we all represent Celtic when we're playing here, you know what I mean? And it's the cause that comes first. And then you'll get all the plaudits you deserve if you're contributing in a successful Celtic team. That's it.
Sorry, just to cut you off there, but just quickly, did you see the camera pan to the first, after his celebration, the corner with trying to rip his shirt off, and that the first person he ran to was Brendan Rodgers. And he was absolutely delighted for him. So, like you said, maybe Brendan's had that wee word in his ear saying, "Stop playing for the name on the back of the shirt and start playing for the name on the front of the shirt." And maybe
I've got an interesting take on it though.
On you go, mate. On you go.
I watched it and I thought Brendan kind of intercepted it. I don't know if...
But you grabbed him.
I don't know, maybe I thought at the time, and I was like, I wonder if I'll bring that up tonight. But then because you've mentioned it, I don't know.
Bring it up.
Thought Brendan just took the extra 2 yards out and took the handshake, and I was like, I don't know if it was...
I made this up. I made this up.
I don't know.
Sing my song. Sing my song. They're not here tonight. Sing my song.
I could be wrong. It's just the vibe I got. Anyway, it was an important goal, though. It got us the 3 points at the end of the day. That's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
If we rewind a bit, and the show's always topsy-turvy in the bus. David Turnbull got a start. I was raging about David Turnbull's inclusion for the first 10 minutes. And then he did what David Turnbull does. I'm going to read out a wee tweet that I've seen, right? It made me chuckle. Made me laugh a wee bit. The vicious David Turnbull cycle scores a banger against a shite team, starts in a big game, disappears in a big game, fans want him out of the club, doesn't feature for ages, go back to step one, scores a banger against the shite team. I thought that's not too far off the money.
Oh.
Now, David Turnbull wouldn't like to hear this, but is there a role at Celtic for having players that can do that domestically? We're at home to whether it be St Mirren, Motherwell, Dundee, whatever, a wee bit, a lesser side. They're going to be, shutting up shop, and we've got a guy there who, from range, is absolutely deadly. No two ways about it, and isn't gun shy when it comes to pulling the trigger. David Turnbull's goal was absolutely exquisite. You just wonder if, as part of it being a squad game now, man, do you know what I mean? Like, is there a role? I don't think David Turnbull would like hearing this.
No.
But it's a weird one, eh?
I mean, I was just looking at his. So that was his 8th appearance tonight, and that's him got 4 goals. Should have had 5. And like you say, he'll come on, score a goal, and then he'll play pretty poorly, and then we won't see him for a while. And then he gets called upon. He kind of gets parachuted in when Hatate or somebody like that gets injured. It's funny that we won't go to like the Tomo Kiawatas or start Odin home tonight. We'll just parachute in David Turnbull because he's kind of, I want to say Mr. Reliable, but then again, if you're needing somebody to get you a goal when you're struggling, he tends to be that guy. And that, like I said, that's his 4th goal tonight this season already, with sporadic appearances when he's been just kind of needed to be called upon. Hatate wasn't getting much game time at the start of the season because his head probably wasn't quite in it. Then he gets injured. Who do we bring in? We'll bring in Turnbull. Hatate comes back. We don't see Turnbull for weeks and weeks and weeks. Hatate gets injured. We've got a long list of midfielders to pick from. Who do we drop in? David Turnbull. Who scores tonight? David Turnbull. But then, as soon as Hatate's fit again, Bhoycie, we'll not see Turnbull until the next injury.
Are we seeing quite a lot of rotation from Brendan in terms of he's not obviously made his mind up, that's abundantly clear, but he's given opportunities to quite a few people who he's looking at to be that 4th choice. I mean, it's quite obvious that the first choice midfield 3 is O'Reilly, Calmac, Hatate, and now we've seen Bernardo obviously get the lion's share of the game against Lazio. We've seen Home come on tonight. We've seen Turnbull start tonight. It looks to me like that is very much up for grabs, being the best of the rest, I feel like, in that centre midfield role. Out with Turnbull, obviously Home then comes on for the last 25 minutes. He's had a lot of love in the live chat so far. What did you make of Holmes' display tonight? I thought he looked pretty tidy all in all.
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, there was a lot of talk about this boy when he came to the club that, he had really good ball control. He could always find a pass. Really, quite cute on the ball. Wee tricks here and there. You've seen he even puts up a lot of videos on his social medias where I'm like just playing with these wee mini balls in his living room. So he's got good ball control, but one of his critiques before coming, I remember, was he wasn't the quickest of releasing the ball. However, I feel like he's developed on that fairly quite quickly. I think Brendan's managed to get that note across that you need to release the ball a lot quicker, find the space, pass it, and move. And he done it brilliantly tonight. And that goal from O tonight, that all came from nice, wee, intricate, quick passages of play, and then a sublime finish. Sublime pass into the path of O for him to put it away. And I mean, to have the vision there to do that. And how old is he? He's 19 years old. He looks far more mature on the ball than most 19-year-olds that you see coming.
He can grow a better moustache than me, that's for sure.
He's got a cracking moustache. Before I came on, I just quickly shaved this down because I was so happy for him.
He's been kind of be like Gandalf all day, but after that, he's like, right, I'm running a wee bit late, Bhoycie.
That's why we ran 1 minute late tonight, because I had to quickly just get the Odin home. Like,
praise indeed from Emmett McNamee. They're saying that Holmes the best passer on the pitch. I like that. That. So that's Yang. So the summer was a brilliant transfer window, wasn't it? Really,
it was fantastic. Unbelievable. Can we go? Although what I say though, right, is I said it. I think I said it to Phil. I was like, are they just not getting the game time? Is Brendan just not quite ready to trust them yet? But maybe he just needs to be a little bit braver and trust them, because I feel like those three coming off the bench tonight kind of put a spanner in my thought process of like they're just no good enough, because they got a good. What did they get tonight? I think they made the subs about 56 minutes in, so they got plenty. They got plenty of game time. I was quite surprised at how quickly he decided to change it, because it wasn't working with Forrest. I felt Palmer, despite having a few chances, to sting the goalkeeper's palms, like you said, he that boy had him in his back pocket in terms of pace. He couldn't beat the man on pace, and it was just he began to, I think, lose a bit of confidence and ran out of ideas. And Brendan recognised that fairly quickly and made the changes, and they got plenty of time to go and prove to me why I should rely on you more. And I think they did. I think we'll see a wee bit more rotation in the side now than we maybe did even just in the Hibs game. They're going, he just doesn't trust them. That's why we're not seeing these changes. We talked about all these rotations and we didn't see it. Well, we've seen it tonight, and we benefited from it tonight. And I think the players did as well. There'll be a shot in the arm of confidence for those three tonight.
No, there will be.
Into his thoughts, I think.
There will be. We'll go the murky waters, David, because I think it'd be remiss not to comment on it. There's obviously been yesterday the news that the Green Brigade wouldn't be there. Now, I'm not going to try and jump and take sides. What I'll say from my point of view on it is, I think the timing, and I don't go into the politics of it, so let's not have that conversation on the bus. Just regardless of where I sit on it, which is probably largely similar to everyone else, it's just not something I really want to go down. But with the Green Brigade suddenly being told yesterday they were suspended, I thought that cast a shadow over the fixture a wee bit ahead of it as well. We then hear the other lot that do it, and forgive me for, is it Boys? The Boys or something like that.
Boys group or something.
Like they've then put up a banner aimed at the police, not the board, which I thought was weird, and then fucked off after 5 minutes. Another sideshow, not all that conducive to getting 3 points. I think the board at times fucking honestly hell bent on trying to put spanners in the works. Do you know what I mean? For the momentum. Now, this isn't me siding with anyone on this. I just think they've timed all this because of the flags, and they knew there'd be loads of flags again tonight. And then they've went, well, look at the list of excuses we've got for them not to come in. Those list of excuses have been probably pretty present for the past 12, 18 months. They've came at this time because I think anyway, Celtic are trying to, or the board are trying to keep the sort of flag protest sort of thing at bay, and this is their way around doing it. That's my honest opinion. My issue with all that is, and I mean, for me, I would just not bother with politics of the football. I think football's an amazing release for me because I love watching sport, particularly football being. Well, I like watching Celtic, and then I watch another sport before I watch the EPL, and now they're all a bunch of fairies these days. You like to see that? But I don't like, what I don't like seeing is hypocrisy. Now, if my memory serves me right, this time, maybe last year or a wee bit early, maybe a wee bit over a year ago, they were buying tickets for, Ukrainian kids and stuff like that. A true sign of alignment to the Ukraine cause. That's not saying that Celtic should have to pick sides. But once you've gone down that road, I think consistency is everything. You can't then pick and choose what fans are allowed to associate themselves with and what they're not. And that sort of thing, I think, is pretty poor on their part. And again, I'm just from a footballing point of view. I want to keep that fucking being clear here. I'm just thinking of it for like Brendan and that. Do you know what I mean? Going, oh, for fuck's sake. There's another drama. That's nothing to do with me, not my doing, that's stopping us again. I mean, Celtic saying there, and I agree, why are we allowed to fly the Ukraine flag but not the Palestinian one? I think that's the problem. That's the problem. A lot of fans are going to look at the timing of this. And unfortunately, I think they've got a point. Now, my issue on the other side of it, David, I know I'm rambling a wee bit here. My other side of it is, suddenly everyone's woke up and wants to now talk about European records, transfer records, and why the board should be sacked. Well, what annoys me is I've consistently said on this channel that when the sack the board banners went up, they came down awfully quick when Celtic started winning fucking football games. So don't start doing the same thing and bringing all this list of excuses why we're to hate the board again, where you're quite happy to pack them all up, put them away till it suited your narrative. So I think both sides are doing the same thing, if you like. They've got reasons not to like each other, but seem to just part them all. I rather consistency. I think that if you wanted change in the board, what you got was musical chairs and 2 Lawwells for the price of 1. This is the reality of what happened. The transfers under Mark Lawwell Jr. so far, I don't think have been up to much. And the departures have been baffling in terms of the fees that we got in for like Giacomakis Juranovic. We could go around that all day. I just think it's so frustrating that just a couple of wins and everyone kids on, they're all pals again. And then something like this comes up, Celtic board go, oh shit, we don't like the idea of those flags being there. Well, what about all the reasons we didn't like them before? Let's cash them in. And vice versa. We've now got a fan group going, we hate the board, get the board out. Remember, we've got all this list of reasons not to like the board, not just the fact that they've banned us. And I think they're both cashing in excuses that have been present the whole time. That fucks me off. I hate inconsistencies. I'm very much on the fence on it. But I just from a sideshow point of view, I thought, fuck, do we need this? Do we need this ahead of what is, again, another crucial week game?
This is the thing, like you said, it's the timing of it all just seems to be a wee bit convenient depending on what side of the fence you're going to be sitting on, I suppose. And like you said, it's not ideal when we're still undefeated domestically. Everything's kind of going well in that sense and results. However, there always just seems to be some sort of sideshow going on in the background that can quickly derail the positive thoughts that are going on and the positive sort of momentum at the club. Obviously, not ideal situation. I don't agree with banning a certain group of people just due to perhaps a political point of view. Like, I think there's like you say, a bit of hypocrisy going on in terms of what you're willing to allow people to pay their ticket and then come into the ground and then support. You could also look at it, and I think David Kelly touched on it, and he said he doesn't want to go down the conspiracy route, but he believes that maybe the board or Celtic have been well warned by maybe the authorities or the media. It came out in the news today that
Lawwell's cosy seat though at UEFA HQ, could that be a reason as well?
Well, yeah, that's where I was about to head down. But today it was in the news that certainly down south is the police are now monitoring the professional football players' social media and presence, and of what they're if they show any signs of support to the Palestinian side of things. And the clubs will be well warned and they could be prosecuted. So, you can look into that whatever way you want to. Is that maybe something that's maybe been warned by Celtic that if you allow this to continue, it perhaps gives off the impression that you support something that we as in the media and the authorities do not want you to be allowing to be going on, and maybe that they've had to take a stance that way. I don't really know. We're never really going to get the full idea of it, but it is concerning that if the police are now getting involved in terms of what professional football players want to support through their social
Yeah, I
media.
wholeheartedly agree. Yeah.
I think you're opening a massive can of worms there. And that's kind of what happened with the
You end up in
allowing.
1984, mate. You know, and I
Yeah.
don't mean literally 1984, but the book by George Orwell, you know, it's thought police and all that sort of thing, you know.
It's very much been you're kind of being told what you can and what you are allowed to support and what you're not allowed to support. But if you're, but yeah, it's not an ideal situation.
No.
And even tonight, watching the game, I don't know if it was just coming through because watching on pay-per-view that, you know, the atmosphere that the Green Brigade do bring, you know, for a lot of the things that they've maybe been criticised for, and you know, all the excuses that the board have decided to put out yesterday as the reasons as to why, and it's they do a lot of good as well, and which the board will take advantage of with when they sell these nice framed pictures of the displays that have been put out there in European nights, the more positive ones that aren't going to get the board any fines or the club any fines. You know, they'll use that to.
Yep, I agree.
But when it's just a case of, is this going to cause a? You know, I was just waiting on a poor result tonight, and that was going to be one of the key sort of narratives. Is, oh well, you know, if the Green Brigade were there tonight, the atmosphere would have been better, and the boys would have been more up for it. You know, so I was a wee bit concerned of that. But all in all, the main point is that we got the 3 points, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sideshow issues on and off the field, mainly off the field, going on right now. That's leaving a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. Even no matter what side of the fence you want to sit on.
Yeah, well, I agree, and that I'm not trying to go down that road now. I certainly don't want to push narratives like that on the bus. I just think there's examples you can give where you go, there's inconsistencies there on both sides that fucking annoy me, because I've actually always been of the opinion, you know, just get rid of the fucking get that board changed. No one should be in there for as long as they've been. I think you know, it needs freshened up, and not by them just switching seats and switching job titles. Do you know what I mean? But that's just the way it goes. That's the way it goes. At the end of the day, we got the result, and I remember Marc saying, the judge at the top that says he felt if Celtic were to win the league this year, it would very much be in spite of those above him. We've seen with the transfers, he's not got the options he would have liked for the Champions League. He's maybe not got the options even domestically as much that he would like, albeit we've seen the benefits of actually giving them, you know, proper game time tonight, you know, to get a feel for the game and get into it. I just think with stuff like that, the timing of it all, it was always going to look like it was a flag thing. I think the other list of charges that the Green Brigade are accused of, I'm pretty sure they could have banned them by now. So it looks to me like the flags at the Atletico Madrid game, and then with the home game coming up, they've went, fuck that, we don't want any more focus on it with that. That's how it looks to me from the outside. I don't have big views to air on other than that. As for the other side of the coin, I'm like, well, you stopped one to say excitable because we won 3 points here and then under Ange, then went on and won the league. And then it was like, it was actually, what a job this man is doing with photos of Mark Nicholson and things. So, you know, I think people forget, like, I posted last summer, not the summer just been, but the one before that, keep your eyes on this board, and basically just got a ton of abuse on Twitter from probably some members of the Green Brigade. I don't know. But a lot of Celtic fans anyway give me absolute pelters. But anyway, it is a situation that needs to reach some sort of conclusion, because at the end of the day, there is customers that have spent a lot of money on their tickets. They've been suspended from the ground for. There is obviously a lot of empty seats because of that as well. The lack of atmosphere thing doesn't worry me, because there's been an atmosphere. Celtic's been around for 100 and, oh, my maths is shocking, 133 years. So, like, do you know what I mean? Is that right? Fucking shut up, Bhoycie. But, you look how many years they've been around. There was no Green Brigade then. We could still get the atmosphere back. But I just think the situation coming to an impasse would be for the best for the team. And that is where my focus lies. David, is there anything you want to add this fine Wednesday evening before we go? Any other wee thoughts, takeaways that you want to bring up? Go for it, mate.
Yeah.
I'm in no rush, by the way. I'm not rushing you.
No, it's fine. No, it is later. But no. What was your thoughts? What was your thoughts on Kyogo tonight when he got through on goal? And all he had to do was just bury that home. I don't.
Went for flair, didn't he?
I hate to say this, but I almost felt it was a little self-indulgent from the wee man tonight. Just he hadn't done much all game. I even asked if he touched the ball at all in the first half. Look, I'm not bashing him by because he's unbelievable. He's a brilliant player. He's one of my favourites at the club. I just felt that you got to bury that, mate, because look what happened at the end. We came a ball here away for conceding right at the end there, and that could have really come back to haunt us that he didn't just put it away. I mean, it would have been a lovely cheeky wee finish, but I felt like you just got to bury that chance. He was trying to be too silky, trying to be a wee bit too clever. Just put it away.
Let me bounce it back to you then. Maybe he's doing a finish like that because that's someone just wanting to do something with the ball because he's not getting enough touches now. Me and Terry spoke about the fact, 3 touches, 1 goal, that's a good ratio in anyone's book. But if he's not scoring and he's only getting 3-4 touches a game, and he does seem so out of it, isn't it funny that when O came on, Kyogo suddenly was more involved. He's involved in the lead up to the goal. And then he's got that clean through chance, which I agree was a self-indulgent attempted finish. But notwithstanding that, I look at Kyogo's influence in the games, if he's not scoring, has been so minimal now. Like everything, his runs aren't either being viewed or he's playing almost his own system that's different for the rest of the teams. He seems so ostracised up front under Rodgers that he really is getting minimal sort of impact. And of course, I've cried for it many times. I've said, look, why can we not, when we're bringing on subs, why do they have to be swapping like for like? Keep the same system, but just change a player and hope that there'll be a different outcome. I think when you see 2 strikers in the park today, you've seen Kyogo come a wee bit more, as I say, to life.
He came alive. He was very part of that build-up. He set up the chance to he set up the pass to home to then to play an O. Like he was well involved then, and obviously then he had the opportunity to pass to Maeda, which he decided to pass to Yang, which I thought was the wrong choice. I thought unless he's lost all faith in Maeda putting it away. But I thought that was the more obvious pass to make. He was much more involved when O came on, like you said. I'm not bashing the guy. Like if he'd put it away, it'd have been Kyogo at his best as usual. So they sometimes come off, they sometimes don't. I just was like, but it's been too tight a game and too to not be just smashing at home. Or even it looked like he could have gotten round the keeper and even put it away. But he chose to go for the dink, and it didn't come off this time. And like I say, these things happen. I just felt like, oh man, just put that away, because then we go and put I was going to say Motherwell because it's fucking the whole Motherwell team playing in St Mirren colours now. Then St Mirren come back and put a bit more pressure on us at the end. That was just like, oh, my nerves are shot after that. So I'm just a wee personal go at him for that, for putting me through the ringer at the end there.
Well, I much like more though seeing him staying in the park when O's coming on than being that like for like swap, as I say. I thought that definitely worked, and hopefully it'll be something that we see. Encouragement from Brendan, and he decides to do that more often. It also led, remember, to O scoring, which has been few and far between so far this season, as is his minutes on the park, of course. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Enjoyed that, David. Get you back in the bus, son. And on a wee chat with myself. I've enjoyed it. The Thiago and moustache was looking great. Celtic 3 points. There should be 5 clear still, unless Rangers absolutely fuck it up. But I did see some Tav penalty-ish quotes coming in the live chat there, so that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. If
5-0.
Is it 5-0? Who cares?
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Well, they gained a few goals in us tonight. Good on them.
Yes.
But we're 5 points clear. Another tie navigated. And as always, on the bus, keep your eyes on this board. Good night. Cheers, David.